Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another one of my tier lists. My name is Dosashi, and I'll be ranking the terminals you can find in Super Mecha Champions. I mostly play on mobile, actually, only on mobile. But I'm guessing this also works for the Steam version. Please let me know if things are a little bit different there because I don't know. I will try to keep it brief, but at the same time, I do notice my tier ranking videos, my tier lists are lengthy by nature because I like to be in depth at the same time. So I will try to be brief, but please forgive me if I get longer. You can see them all here. I took screenshots from the game, and it is season 17 currently, reaching its end, almost season 18, and I've been playing since season 10. I will show now a little bit of some stats, so you can get a bit of a reference. I'm definitely not a pro player. I'm not an Alpha Knight. My highest ranking is legendary 15 stars or something, I think. This season I played a little bit less because I've been very busy with work and other games. But I still very much enjoy Super Mecha Champions, and these terminals definitely make a big difference for your build. So I've divided them in offensive terminals, in defensive terminals, and in utilitarian terminals. But I see that Tier Maker has been mixing them up. So actually, no, it's actually still alright. So let's just get into it. I will start by Killing Machine. As you can see, auto includes awesome, decent, meh, or bad. They are definitely not created equally. So Killing Machine, Mecha's primary weapon gains 0.08% damage for 1.5 seconds up to 10 times. So that's a maximum of 8% damage increase when scoring a hit. So this one is definitely very strong on fast shooting mecha. On the slower shooting mecha, it's alright. I would not pick it that quickly because the, let's say, 1% per extra increase per hit is not so great. But if you play like Firefox, it's amazing. Like Firefox, Red Wolf, I would say even the new one, Death Knell, shoots relatively fast. Michael also would work with this. Andromeda, so Skylark. Skylark is more of a faster shooting, but Hurricane is like super fast. Hurricane is very good with him. I think this one is good, but depending on the mecha that you're wielding, piloting. Burstshot, I think, is very good, but actually also the same. This one is kind of the equivalent of this one, but first of all you need to be reloading. Most mecha do reload in the game, and you prefer that your shots are big shots, so not those tiny assault rifle shots like Dreadwolf, but more like the big daggers from Michael, or big blast from Caramel, Skyfall. Those kinds of mecha definitely really go well with burst shot, because after reloading your first shot will just deal more. The only mecha that I would not pick it on is Raven, because it does not reload. Crazy Doll, for every player defeated, gain a 0.8% damage bonus up to 8 times, so slightly less than Killing Machine, but I do think it's also slightly better. This one will just give you a flat increase of damage compared to the situations here, and I wonder, I've not tested this, but it doesn't refer to mecha damage, so I'm guessing it might also work as a pilot, but I do think most of these terminals are actually departing from the mecha perspective, basically. But nonetheless, for every player defeated up to 8 times, for me it's very common, if I have a good game, that I defeat at least 10 other players. So if you end up in the top 5, which counts as a win in Super Mecha Champions, the Crazy Doll will do some work for you. It's just extra damage for free, basically. This one, also Force Fortress, when Mecha is not moving, get plus 3 damage bonus per second, up to 3 times. And this one works really well on a few Mecha. So it works really well on Arthur and Aurora, and I guess also Gabriel, and maybe Snow Mirage to some extent. Doomlight could also work. This is the mecha that prefer to be stationary. Most mecha want to be moving around all the time, but there's definitely the mecha that I just mentioned that actually also function really well while being stationary, and mecha like Aurora and Arthur in some cases just have to be stationary. Aurora with its secondary and Arthur with its primary. So on those, yeah, this extra, it really builds up pretty quickly actually. So definitely recommended to check out the Force Fortress. Treasure Assault. Let's place it here as well for now. For every airdrop opened, Mecha gets plus 2.5% damage bonus up to 3 times. Now this one I would rank a little bit lower. So on paper you could say, okay, 7.5% damage bonus is pretty solid. So especially actually on all Mecha this would work. The thing is, you will not always find 3 airdrops to be open. Some maps have more airdrops, other maps have less. So it really depends on what kind of map you are and also how the game develops. Of course, you could find this one first and decide to like, hey, let's go. I'm gonna go some treasure hunting today. And great, go for it. Also, I would pick this one if I would see in my near vicinity on the map 3 airdrops. But if not, I will probably not pick this one. So it's very situational. It's not bad, but yeah, I think that's a good category here. And then here, I would say this one is pretty bad. The armor-piercing ammo increases rifle-using pilots' damage versus mecha by 40%. So, 40% is a very big damage increase, don't get me wrong. But why I don't like this one is I don't think it's the wisest thing to use rifles against mecha. So this of course works with the SMG, assault rifle, light rifle, probably also the sniper rifle, explosive sniper rifle. So now that I say that, the explosive sniper rifle could actually really blast, almost function like an iron cannon then if you have this one equipped. But the why I don't like this one is it only works when you're a pilot. So I think maybe if you're going like one solo versus squad, or you're going like a sniping route, it could work. But that is already such a specific playstyle. It would do something though if you decide to do like a challenge only pilot versus mecha. Actually I will place it next to this one on the map, because you can definitely wreck some mecha with this, especially if they can't find you, if you manage to hide in buildings. But there's a lot of ifs. If this, if that, if the map is correct, if you're doing the challenge, if you manage to hide in buildings, if you have the right weapons, and if you're a pilot. But all those ifs make it not that great. I think the treasure assault is actually better than this one. But there's also some bad ones in here, so I think I will not yet put that one over there. Perfectionism I think is also decent. It increases attack by 10%, which is a big increase, especially compared to the other ones. When the mecha's armor and durability are full. So that's one if basically. Your mecha has to not have taken damage basically, or has to have the armor and durability full. So I think this one is amazing on mecha that you use on burst mecha, for example, like Aurora, Venturus, where you're basically sneaking up on people and then just blast all your cooldowns. Tempest would also work with this. Akashic, where you just blast all your cooldowns on the enemy and just obliterate them before they even find you. It can also work on sniping mecha. Gabriel, Snow Mirage, I would say also Pulsar and Raven to some extent, I guess. I mean, if you shoot a shot of like 700, then you do get a 70 extra. So 770, it's a big increase. And the nice thing about Perfectionism, and I think all of them, they do stack. So you can find 3 times Perfectionism and then just nuke people with Gabriel, for example, Snow Mirage, just 2-shot them. 2-shot Mecha. If you have like a 30% decrease just by having a full HP and just camping on top of somewhere. It's not my preferred playstyle, but I can see that this has its homes. So pretty decent, not great, but pretty decent. Infighting, I will place here for now. So what does it do? Increases your damage versus the same type of mecha by 15%. Increases your damage taken from the same type of mecha by 10%. So let's say you're playing a continuous mecha like Firefox, and you're coming across an Andromeda, which also happens to be a continuous mecha because they have continuous shooting. So then the pilot that has Infighting equipped does 15% damage against that Andromeda and then takes 10% more. So it's a trade-off. Yes, you do more damage than you take more damage. I think this would work better on the more tanky mecha than on the squishier ones. So I think in this case the Firefox could work with it. But as an Andromeda I would not pick this because Andromeda is already very squishy. I'm thinking here, let's say if I would be a Gabriel and I would have a sniping war with Snow Mirage, yeah, I do more damage, but then I don't know, this one is so situational. Also, first of all, you have to come across another mecha that is of the same type as you, and only then it will take effect. Otherwise, this terminal ad just does nothing. And to me, when it's so situational and you don't have any control over it, at least with these two you have some control. You know, you can go searching for the airdrops, or with this one you can, you know, try to hunt mecha as a pilot with a variety of rifles. With this one you don't choose who your enemies are. So yeah, I think actually that makes Infighting pretty bad. But then yeah, let's put it in the bad. It's a big damage increase. This is a big damage increase both ways though, but it's so situational. Nah, it's meh. Unity I would place here. It's an auto include, but only that's one if you have to have the pilot that is the pilot of the mecha you're wielding. So what does it do, Unity? It increases your mecha's movement speed, damage and defense by 5% if it is piloted by its exclusive pilot. So for example, like the image portrays, if you're piloting Hurricane and you got Vita equipped, you will get this bonus with this terminal. If you don't have the exclusive pilot combo, then you don't get anything. So it is an auto include if that is the case. If not, it does nothing. So actually it's not always an auto include, so I would place it in awesome. Most of the times when I play, I do try to pick the pilot that belongs to the mecha that I'm planning on playing. But of course you can also do it the other way around, that you just pick a pilot that you like. For example, I play a lot of Jutong, and sometimes I come across Unity and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do a Venturus match. You can decide that later on. Of course you can also do the mecha reset or whatever, I forgot what it was called, but then you can just change your mecha again if you manage to pick up a Unity. But in general, I think, yeah, I also like Unity a lot because it kind of invites people to play the mecha pilot combos a bit more, and then you will see certain pilots a little bit more than before. I definitely see the difference also, at least in my own playstyle. For example, I used to main Aurora for a long time, for multiple seasons, and then Yutong came out, and I don't play Yutong actually unless I play Aurora, and to me that's cool. It's just alters the flavor of your playstyle a little bit. But when you do get the buff is immense. Movement speed, damage, and defense, all by 5%. That's a big buff there. Okay, this one is really bad. So, what is it? I can't read it. What is it? Incremental Hardening. +2 max durability for every ace badge picked up thereafter. So there's some multiple things that's wrong with this one. So first of all, not all maps allow you to collect ace badges. So that's already off the bat. So, and the terminals don't care, apparently. The game designers did not think like, hey, if there's no ace coins on this map, let's not put this terminal in there. No, it will still offer it to you. So be aware of that, because that's a waste of a slot and you only have 3 slots. So +2 max durability. So that's the thing. First of all, you need to find the ace badges. Not all maps have it, but I just said. Then it says picked up thereafter. So it doesn't count the ace badges that you've already picked up. So again, all of those ace badges, and let's say if you are on a map that gives you ace badges, all the ones that you picked up before do not count. Then on top of that, it's only +2 max durability, +2 per coin. And if I remember correctly, you can pick up, I think, like 100 or 200. So let's say it's 100, then you get 200 extra hit points. That's 1 shot by Andromeda's crossbow. That's less than 1 dagger from Michael. Skylark blasts 2 shots and it's gone. Sure. I think it's 200 actually. So 200 ace badges. So that would make it about 400 extra durability. But it doesn't add up to the fact that all the downsides are still there. So it's not a great buff. And then also this one is just bad. Don't pick it. Don't use it. Even if it is an ace badge level, even then don't pick this. Just pick any other 3 and you will have a better time. Okay, instant recharge. Now we're coming to the defensive one. So that one is also increasing your durability. This one is increasing your shield. Instant recharge. When durability is below 15%, you generate shield to full once every 2 minutes. So this one I think is awesome. So when you're dueling, this one is awesome for multiple reasons. First of all, having that extra durability out of nowhere will surprise your opponent while dueling. So it will give you not only more survivability, can also give them a shock, basically, that the player basically realizing, oh fuck, I thought I had them and then I didn't. Especially when you're playing Mecha with big shields such as Hurricane or Neutron Star has a pretty big shield. Jojo has an immense shield, so that's 600, huh? If you're playing Jojo and you pick up this one and you drop below 15 durability, then bomb, you have 600 extra durability out of nowhere. And that would definitely turn the tide. But now I say that, does this work on Mecha with a small shield such as Aurora or yeah, I'm thinking here, like even Aurora or Skylark or Skyfall, they have relatively smaller shields. Northern Knight, but even then, just having that extra durability for free, basically, while you're dropping below a certain threshold, I think it's great. Usually when I play the game and I come across this one, I do pick it, because it works actually on almost all Mecha. Yeah. This one is the Homogenizing Siphon. You regenerate 10% max durability after destroying another Mecha. So this one is decent. Of course, there's an if, so you need to destroy other Mecha, but that's kind of the the plan anyway. So this one will just reward you for doing what you should be doing anyway. So that's why I think it's pretty good. 10% is not so much. It does work better on the beefier Mecha, like Trio, Hot Steel, Caramel. So more on the tanky side, let's say, because you will just get more. If you're playing Andromeda or Raven, 10% on 2500 is 2500 is 250, so it's not nothing, you know. And I've definitely played also with Michael with Pulsar matches where I had this equipped, and it just gives you some extra in clutch situations. It just gives you this extra edge that you might need to overcome additional opponents, especially in squad games. I think this one is pretty good. I mostly play solo games, but in squad games this one is pretty good. In solo games it's alright. But yeah, I think if I would have to choose, I definitely would have, if I have to pick like a defensive one, I definitely prefer this one over this one. Yeah, because this shield goes to full. I would think, yeah, situationally like Northern Knight has a small shield, but also not so much durability, so both of them are actually not so great on Northern Knight. Never mind. Yeah, I think this is fine. Then we have another one with small letters. So what is this? Anti-artillery shield. Wow, I got there. Damage from attacks more than... So wait a minute. So what does it say? Damage from attacks more than 50 meters away against the mecha is reduced by 10%, but damage from attacks within 15 meters is increased. So yeah, this is similar to the Infighting. It's this trade-off kind of thing, but then for defensives instead of offenses. So you take less damage from far away, but you take more damage from close by. Again, both of these work okay-ish with sniping mecha, long-range mecha. 50 meters is not that far, but it's really, yeah. An Andromeda could make this work with these two, but then if I would only pick these two if... So these two are, yeah, I think they're all meh. So these two I only would pick if it's like the last, we're in the top 10 and I come across a terminal and I just still have 1 or 2 slots remaining for the terminals. I didn't find anything else. It's in most cases better than nothing. I do think so. It still is more of a buff than a debuff, although it also gives a debuff, which is not always... you don't want that necessarily, but yeah, the buff is stronger than the debuff, so only then I would pick these, otherwise I wouldn't. This one is also pretty decent. The energy field. The mecha converts regeneration above max durability into temporary shield up to 30% of its max durability. So this one is a little bit worded confusingly. So in the beginning I thought, oh, 30% of your max durability, that's crazy big. So as a hot steel you would get like more than 1,000 hit points extra. No, that's not what it does. It's 30% of the shield gets on top. So if you have a big shield like Neutron Star or Hurricane or Jojo, 30% of your shield's durability is added to your durability basically. So this is just some free hit points, really easy to trigger. If I compare to this one, you know, also gives extra hit points, but this one is more substantial. I think, of course, with the right amount of ace badges you can get more with this, but this one works in every match, on every map, on every mecha. Of course, it does work better on the mecha with more durability, but it does something always, basically, as long as you overheal yourself. But that's relatively easy. Okay, I think now we had all the offensive and all the defensive terminals. That leaves us with these utilitarian terminals. Let's continue with Fiery Instinct. And I think Fiery Instinct is an auto-include. Why? Because it increases your mecha movement speed by 4%, and it reduces your tactical skill cooldowns by 4%. And this is doubled in ace time. This Fiery Instinct is amazing. Better than Unity, I would say, because it always works. It's just a static buff that you turn on, and every single mecha benefits from this. At every moment in the game, it's better to have lower cooldowns, it's better to have higher speed, and in ace time it only gets better. This one is an auto-include always for me. When I come across this, I will pick it. Usually if I find some other things, and I will leave my third slot open in order to either find Unity or Fiery Instinct most of the times, but Unity only, of course, if I have the matchup. Especially with newer mecha, that's just not possible. So like the latest, let's say, I don't know out of my top of my head how many, but at least 5 or 8 mecha don't benefit from Unity because their palette is not released yet. Fiery Instinct will still work. So yeah, amazing. The next one is called Race Against Time. All items take 30% less time to activate. So this one I pick frequently, not always, but frequently, if I feel like I already have a Fiery Instinct, I already have Unity. That was a crazy combo, by the way. And I come across this one and it's like the last, let's say 10 minutes of the game, 5 minutes maybe even. This can definitely happen, like while hiding behind a hill, using our recovering items, or using the potions, or in the Magic Hunter, the books, the secret arts, they just activate quicker, and it is noticeable. So it's definitely not bad. But this will never be my first terminal pick. Never Give Up is all right. It's actually meh, but that's why I place it here. But it can be alright, that's what I tried to say. The mecha will not drop modules when destroyed. So that in itself is actually very useful. Because usually when you get demaxed, when you get destroyed, you lose your core or one of your other modules. And then the enemy, that does two things. You lose it, and the enemy that destroyed you can pick it up, getting even stronger. So that's something that you stop with this. But why I don't like this one so much is because for this to have an effect, is you first have to get destroyed, and in general, try not to do that. So this one, for example, you will lose durability most of the times. You will get into duels that people are outplaying you, or that you make a mistake, so you will lose durability. And of course, if you make plenty of mistakes and you're being outplayed more and more, your mecha will get destroyed. It will happen, absolutely. But it's a bit too many circumstances that you don't really control for this to trigger, and then it's only conserving something, and this allowing your enemy to get stronger by a margin. Doubting here. It's really not. I would definitely pick this one if I have a full purple build with all modules and I have a core equipped. If I have everything purple and the core, I probably will pick this up. But then again, if I come across 3 of these others, I probably will prefer those. Doubting though. I think it is better than it's definitely better than all these here. So yeah, I will place it here because it has its uses. Definitely in the late game, it will be useful. Moving on to Witness. And what does Witness say? Plus 20% auto aim range for all of the pilot's firearms. Yeah, it goes right over there. Because the auto aim, extra range, I mean, I'd like to tell you to just practice and enjoy the game, and your aim will get better over time. And the auto aim, I actually only use with the SMG or with the heavy rifle in close range. And to have extra range, well, then it doesn't really work or the gun shield, then it doesn't work so well anymore with those weapons, because those are close range weapons. So then you might have the extra auto aim range, but then the weapons don't necessarily do more damage over that range. So it's only as a pilot. Nah, no, don't take witness. It's a waste of a slot. Upright is also an auto include. Upright says automatically detects enemies within 200 meters when calling a mecha. Detected enemies will also see your location. Cooldown is, what is it, a minute? Yeah, 60 seconds, 1 minute. So the cooldown is alright. 1 minute is really not bad. And what this allows you to do is to just find your enemies. It gives you very valuable information. Sure, they will also find you, but you are, when you're using this consciously, you are on the hunt. And the people that are looking around and hear the sound like, hey, someone is using a radar and seeing me now, yes, they will maybe get a higher heightened senses, but they will be slower to react than you, the one activating it. And most of the times this just helps finding remaining pilots or fleeing pilots after you demax someone. It's a proactive ability that you can also use quite a lot, because sometimes what I do is I just I run around as pilot into an area, then I mech up, scan the area, I know whether it's safe or not, and then I continue with what I was planning on doing, either hunt down the enemy or open an airdrop or something. That information is very valuable, and I'm really glad that they added this terminal to the roster. And it works on all mecha. Yeah, that information is just so valuable. And 200 meters is a pretty big range. Exploding bot party is kind of similar to Never Give Up. You will generate 4 exploder bots to the spot when the mecha is destroyed. So I think these two actually work really well with JoJo, because JoJo might blow itself up more frequently than any other mecha. And the exploding bots definitely fit there as well. But yeah, it's the same reasoning basically like what I had for Never Give Up. But one nice thing about those 4 is those 4 do a lot of damage, and usually when someone finishes you off in close range, they will just get taken down by this, unless they immediately respond with perfect aim and perfect reaction time to destroy them or to dash away. Most of the times they will get destroyed by these 4 after they destroyed you. So that kind of levels the playing ground a little bit. But in squad games, I think this one gets less good, because more people, your teammates, can cover you and then destroy those bots. Yeah, I think the same arguments go for Never Give Up as for the Exploded Bot Party. It's a lot of damage, but you don't want to get destroyed at all. New Frontier. What does it say? Automatically detect enemies within 200 meters for 6 seconds after opening an airdrop. So same thing as the treasure assault here. You have to be near an airdrop for this to do something. If you are already planning on going to an airdrop, you're already on your way, or there's like some nearby, and you come across this terminal head, I have picked it up, and that 200 meter range is very valuable. Same like Upright, but the thing is, Upright is amazing because you control when to use it. New Frontier, you don't really control it so much. You have to go seek out the airdrops to... it's more stationary basically, also, and more situational. So it's meh, I wouldn't pick it so quickly. Wave of Recovery I will place here. The time for the mecha's first respawn and recall is reduced by 15%. So this one is bad. Again, it's about recall, so you already have to be destroyed once. Then it says the first respawn and recall. So it only works once, only after you, so you have to get destroyed first of all. The second of all, it's a one-time use. This is fucking shit. I'm sorry, but don't use it. Just it's a waste. Yeah, I cannot imagine a situation where I would actually ever pick this. Well, the only situation I can imagine is you have been having a good game, you're in top 5, you're not in ace time yet though, so that's already a big if, but you're in the top 5, but not in ace time yet. Your mecha gets destroyed, you manage to fly away, you drop next to a terminal that shows only this one and the rest you already have, for example, the other two. Then you pick it up, and then right before ace time, your first respawn will be a little bit faster. Yeah, it's a lot of ifs. In my almost 2 years of experience in this game, I've never come across where I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I picked this up. So, no. Okay, the last one. Swift Chameleon. You get a plus 20% ejection velocity plus invisible parachute trail when Mecha explodes. So this does a little bit what Yutong does by itself. So you have extra ejection velocity, and that's not that special necessarily. But your parachute becomes invisible can definitely help in your enemies not tracking you after they demek you. So this, oh, actually also place it here. That all of the other ones are better than this. So the invisibility, I've had it against me a couple of times, and yeah, it's more difficult to track, especially in areas with a lot of buildings. But if it's like clear sky and it's like in the hills or something, on the crossroads, you will still be seeing the pilot and just following them. So because the pilot does not become invisible, but only the parachute and the trail. So yeah, it is harder to see you, but then there's this big if again that I mentioned before as well. Your mecha first has to get destroyed, but then these two actually provide a decent buff. This is not a great, so yeah. Okay, so I don't know how much time I spent here, but I hope I managed to teach you something here. For me, it was very valuable to reflect on these a little bit, and as always, if you like this kind of content, please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I wish you all a beautiful day, and see you next time. Peace.